All right, y'all, we are back. How many times do we hear this question? Does money buy happiness? Let me share this with you. Yes, it does. Remember Ice Cube on Friday when he said, are you high today? And he said, yes, yes. Money does buy happiness. That's what we're going to chop it up today. Let's go. All right, you know I like that head bobbing music. Welcome back to the show. This is Life Money Balance, where we let your life lead your money, not your money lead your life. We help you align, aspire, achieve your life design. I'm your host, Dr. Preston Cherry, founder and CEO of Concurrent Financial Planning. All right, let's chop. If you like this show, go ahead and smash that subscribe button and share what you heard and what you like and what you feel. All right, does money buy happiness? You know, we hear this a lot, and I think folks seem to not want to say it just straight out the gate. And they have problems saying that, you know, money buys happiness because there's a lot of societal kind of shame or judgment saying, you know, people are like money. But money is life. Money is representative of who we are, how we go about our lives, taking care of ourselves, what we value, how we earn a living, it's emotional. You know, money is emotional. So there's a lot that goes into money. I like to say all the time that money is emotional. Well, money's representative. Money's representative. And, you know, folks tend to confuse sometimes or, conflate, put them together, wealth and well-being. Wealth and well-being are different. We need dollars. We need wealth. We need to build wealth in order to invest in our well-being. Well-being is a state of being, whether it be comfort, security, confidence, those type of things. Wealth, we're building these dollars. It's an amount. All right. So that's why we're on our wealth building journey, in order to invest into a state of being. When we talk about what is our enough, what is our security, those type of things. How confident do we feel in our now, you know, in our future, those type of aspects. So when we talk about does money buy happiness, folks are like, no, money doesn't buy happiness. Well, it buys happiness if you've ever been broke. I can tell you that, right? I remember my first car. Actually, my first car was actually pretty chill. It was 1986 Cutlass. I went half and half with my grandfather, and he said, if you save up half, I'll give you the other half. And it started out clean. It was a 2-door setup. It was at an angle, you know, slanted in the front, came in the back, dual pipes of exhaust. I had tires in the back, all that. It was all good. Then a few years later, I got into a wreck. It turned into a hoopty, and then I had to, you know, reach out on the side to open the door and all that. And at the time, my money was short. I was young, right? Now here recently, it was -5 up here in Wisconsin where I am, and my battery went out, and it was like, yeah, -3, -5, something to that effect. And I got in my car, started it up, didn't start. Well, them batteries ain't cheap, so I went to the auto place. It started up one good time because I gave it a jump, and we got to the place, and I forgot what battery brand name it was, but it was one of them green batteries, and it was I don't know, $250, $260, something like that. Them batteries were expensive, but you know what? Got that joint real quick, popped it in there. I was out, right? I was happy. Not only did I take care of a need, but I was in and out. That event didn't set me back. So I lived in gratitude at that point, that I was able to just go in there, handle that business, and keep it moving, right? And so that's a baseline need of non-brokenness, right? We're going to talk about Maslow's triangle a little later, and talking about just needs and also wants, about aspiring. When we talk about here about let your life lead your money, we have these aspirational needs and wants to thrive and prosper. It's just not about the needs that we need to survive, these physiological needs. It's also the wants to thrive. Needs are wants too. I post about that a lot. Needs are wants too, or wants or needs too, as I should say. All right. So when we talk about the research, we talk about the research of happiness. So there was a study. There was a study back in 2010 about happiness, and it's often quoted that happiness increases with income upwards to all the way up to 75,000, and then it plateaus like this. Okay. So meaning after 75,000, it doesn't buy much happiness. Well, we know that's some bull right there. And it doesn't mean that the data was wrong. It just means that, that's what that data showed at the time. And for those that have experienced higher levels of income, you would share and say that, at higher levels of income, I've experienced higher levels of comfort in my lifestyle. Okay. And so leveling off at 75,000, sometimes it makes sense with folks. All right. Stay with me. So that was in 2010, and that was a Princeton study. All right. Fast forward a decade, 2021. And there was a Penn study that said that happiness was, increases in income extended beyond $75,000. That made sense too. All right. For the reasons what I just said. More income, you get to do more things. It handle more ebbs and flows with life. All right. So that data, was accurate in the data that it collected, but it was seemingly saying two different things. So these Princeton and Penn, right? these high level schools. So they actually came together here recently and did a joint study. And what they came up with is that, yes, in general, higher levels of income, as you earn higher levels of income, your happiness tends to increase. It's like, no shit. Right? All right. That said, there was a little piece in there that showed itself. It said that, yes, higher levels of income tend to raise higher levels of happiness all the way up, for most folks, except for unhappy people, up to $100,000. Let me say that again. So in general, higher incomes increase happiness in perpetuity, which makes a little sense. All right, stay with me. But there's a common group that says if you're unhappy, then income and happiness plateau around $100,000. What does that tell us? All right. It says unhappiness, you cannot buy what you don't know. You cannot buy what you don't know. So you have to know thyself. You have to know thyself first before you get to increasing your happiness. And that takes work. That takes work. So when we're talking about buying more happiness, there's an initial first step. You have to know what actually makes us quote unquote happy. And happy is like pink cloudish. It means different things to different folks. We have basic needs that we need to take care of. I mentioned, Maslow's triangle, and at the bottom you have, from looking here at this triangle here, you got, physiological needs, safety needs, love and belonging, esteem, self-actualization. we're trying to get to that top. The actualization of self, getting up every morning and having the opportunity to maximize, oneself. And sure, with more income, you get to take care of those basic safety needs, those physiological needs, keep a roof over your head, all of that. So of course, taking care of all of those needs is going to make you happier, make you feel better, feel more secure. It's called well-being, right? You're going to feel more well. Okay. So that increases your state of being. That's why I say wealth and well-being are two different things. You're using your dollars, all right, wealth where you are, in order to invest into your overall well-being, your wellness, all right, whether it's a need or a want. And as I mentioned, wants or needs too, because we're trying to reach that self-actualization, reach a higher, the highest level of ourselves. And we're transferring our wealth and investing into our well-being. All right. And if we are honest and courageous and open with ourselves to do that investigative work, we have to unpack and understand what happiness means to us, what we value most, find out what our self-worth and self-value is, to understand a unit of happiness so we can invest in. And if we know that level of happiness, that unit of happiness, what it is and it's defined, then we can buy more of it. And that's why money can indeed buy happiness. If first you've done the work, money, money can't mask misery. Money can't mask misery. All right. Garbage in, garbage out. Not calling anybody garbage or anything like that, but it's a popular saying we all know. If you put bad ingredients in, you're gonna get bad ingredients out. So if you put good ingredients in, then you got a good meal. Right. And so, money, and so some folks say, well, money can't buy, direct life. Well, no, it can't buy you more eternal time. Money can't buy you more eternal lifetime, but it can buy you, money can buy you more effective and efficient lifetime. Money can't buy you more eternal lifetime, but money can buy you more efficient and effective lifetime. They're more, you know how to invest that money in more well-being because you understand you've done the work. And there's two HSAs. I say all the time that the IRS must have been crazy when they let the HSA out. That's the health savings account. Triple tax advantage, right? No tax in, no tax in the middle, and no tax out if you're paying for qualified medical expenses. They must have been crazy when they left that out, right? Because IRS is about that money. They're gonna collect that dollar, no question. But there's another HSA that I talk about. It's called the honest HSA, right? Which is the honest self-audit. The honest self-audit. Well, it's the emotional HSA, I should say, to correct it. The emotional HSA, honest self-audit, which is admit where you are, acknowledge how you feel about it, so you can take some corrective action or aspiring action. And that's that process of unpacking and understanding and unlocking what that happiness value means to you, that sense of purpose. That's what that emotional HSA is all about. Admitting where you are, acknowledging how you feel. That's that process so you can take some action and unlocking and understanding. That's that process. And once that happiness is identified, you can buy the hell out of it. Right? There's a movie, was it the Bohemian Rhapsody? I think everybody's seen. Great movie if you haven't seen it. It's about the rock band Queen from back in the day. All right. Great movie. And the lead singer, rest his soul, he died early. And also think there was another movie about Elton John. you know? And there's a lot of movies about this, and we've heard this story a long time. I'm just using these references because they're well-known folks. I mean, folks go through this all the time, okay? But the point about it is, I just want to give you a point of reference. You're throwing money down a hole if you think money is just going to buy unknown happiness. You're throwing money down a hole if you're buying unknown happiness. If you haven't taken the time to unpack and understand happiness before you purchase it. And in those movies, it was a continual throwing money at trying to purchase, happiness, because it was unknown. Those characters didn't know, what was meaningful to them, except for their art at the time, right? And there's no shame or judgment. We all go through seasons. My mother says all the time, there's reasons for seasons. For years, and I went through some fog years myself. So again, no shame or judgment. That's not what we're here for. You have to progress through life in order to unpack and understand. It takes 3 weeks, 3 days, 3 years. That's what it takes sometimes. All right. And there was a time through my fog years, I didn't know either. And I was throwing money at something that I didn't know where the happiness, tunnel ended. Okay. And it showed up in my bank statements too, by the way. Right. And so, because there was no unpacking or understanding of what the unit of happiness was, what was the purpose? There's an old Lionel Richie Commodore song. It starts out, he says, "You have no value, no purpose." Right? Value. He has a little country twang on it, right? And if you don't do that value or purpose investigation, like I was doing in the fog years, then you have nothing to invest in but this black hole, right? But once that emotional self-audit, that honest self-audit, that emotional HSA is done, and he's like, okay, this is what happiness means to me, whether it be all these different areas of life, of self-care, where we talk about physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, intellectual, environmental, social, financial. Okay, these are these 8 areas of self-care where there's materials in here too. There's a whole bunch of areas in here. All right, and don't get it twisted. All right, don't get it twisted. It's okay to buy more lifestyle, more well-being in all of these areas. It's okay if you have a plan and a purpose and you have the resources. All right. I think I made a post about it. This glass right here, if you're listening, that's a crystal glass, but if you see it, I have a crystal glass. And for years, I was drinking out of a different glass. It was okay. All right. I drank water out of it. It's cool. All right. But there's a difference between the glass I'm drinking out of now and the glass I had. It provides me more happiness. The glass is heavier. It's a better water drinking experience. It's material. All right. Now, does that glass, make me? Is my net worth my self-worth? No, your net worth is not your self-worth, but your net worth helps make your self-worth because you can invest in it. Wealth, well-being. You take your wealth and invest in your well-being to help it grow and help it be a better experience. So yes, you can buy happiness once again. All right. What do you value? What does your purpose mean to you? Okay. Again, money doesn't buy misery, but money purchases purpose. Money purchases purpose. All right. So when we ask our question, does money, buy more happiness? Yes, it does. it buys more units if you've done the work. And it's okay to say so. Don't worry about being shunned about saying that and having society saying, okay, you worship money, or money, you need money to, make your self-worth, or you don't understand money, or any other saying, that brings about maybe shame or judgment or misunderstanding. All right. There's an order of operations. Remember, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally for you, Gen Xers out there. I don't know what the hell type of math they're doing nowadays. My niece, she's 16 and they're doing some Common Core stuff. I don't know what the hell they're doing. Right. But there's an order of operations. The order of operations with a lot of things. Right. And if we've done the order of operation, as we mentioned earlier in the show, of unpacking, understanding ourselves, then yes, we can buy more additional units of that happiness in all of these areas. What we value most. That's why align your life and money, and you can give your money assignments. All right. I say that all the time. Give your life and money alignment. Your money has assignments, and then your money has accountability. Well, ask yourself, what makes you happy? Is it, leaving a legacy, giving, charitable giving, helping your children, giving to your spouse, even material items? That's fine too. Like I said, I mentioned this glass. All right. I happen to be wearing a custom shirt. You don't have to have, a custom shirt, but it feels better, fits me. All right. It's within my plan and my capacity. And means different to different people. All right. Because people are at different stages of life. Remember, it's within your means, not below your means. All right. We all have different versions of well-being. We all have different versions of enough. We have different versions of self-care. Remember, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, intellectual, environmental, social, financial, well-being, wellness. Do we feel secure? Do we feel confident? Somebody mentioned, money won't buy, avoidance of sadness or unfortunate events. It's not going to buy you avoidance of death or ebbs and flows of life. But money can make them more comfortable or more adequate to deal with. They make them more easier to process. You have more resources. If you're struggling with or battling with, a uncertain event or a troubling event, you can go get some help, right? You can invest in well-being that leads to happiness, right? Happiness doesn't mean just being on cloud 9 all the damn time. It doesn't mean that. It means being well. You can feel better than what you would have been without, right? Yes, if someone passes away, you can purchase resources, whether it be, mental well-being, spiritual well-being, giving away to family members. All of that is increasing your level of happiness because you have more resources, wealth to well-being. So yes, you identified what makes you feel more well. If you need some time off from a business, a job, a family, maybe an unfortunate event that you split from your spouse, or maybe a child needs some help. with an illness or a situation, right? You have to ask yourself, would you feel less or more better if with more or less resources? That's what happiness is. Would you feel more or less better with more or less resources? That's happiness. That's wealth and well-being. Can you buy more units of what you value most? That's what we're talking about. When we talk about can you buy more happiness? Yes. Can you buy more of what you feel that makes you feel well? Can you buy more time? No, you can't buy more eternal time, but you can buy more effective and efficient lifetime. Time itself, freedom and flexibility. If you are people like to say, oh yeah, well, I can buy experiences. I like to have more experiences. Well, when you're taking that time away from your business, your employment, your household, all of that, where does that time come from? You purchased that some sort of way by stacking away some cash or some investments in order to buy that trip, buy that time away. Wealth and the well-being. You've you've unpacked what you value most, which is that experience. You've invested in that. Did that make you happy? Right? Okay. So yes, you can buy more happiness, right? You can buy more happiness. And the list goes on. The list goes on. And there's an old song out there, and the beat goes on. There's also, I think it's Tevin Campbell says, there's a better you, better me, so get up, get out, and get up. Sometimes I just break out in a song, y'all, just because I want to, right? So, yes, you can buy more happiness, and happiness is not a pink cloud. It's about feeling more well about yourself, about your purpose, your state of being, all right? Advancing and investing your self-actualization, meaning you're maximizing your best self, whether it be repair or reward or recovery, repair, reward, or recovery. That's happiness. And using your wealth to well-being and repair, reward, or recovery. That's a example of happiness. We can go on and on, y'all. Ask everybody do something on and on. All right. So the research says so. So we reviewed that. We know thyself. Unpack, understand, unlock what happiness means to you. Not always pink cloudish. Find out what matters to you most. And then you can buy more units of that, across these domains of self-care, including material, because, it matters. It's a level of comfort, I don't know about y'all. Have you ever slept on a I won't drop a name, but a good pillow and a bad pillow, so to speak? It matters, don't it? Right? Come on now. Y'all holler at me, leave some notes in the comments or so when y'all hear this show or watch this show. Explain to me, some of the things that make you happy. Y'all know family makes you happy. Loving your spouse makes you happy. Your family, giving away experiences, emotional, mental, financial, all these things, intellectual, invest into yourself, right? Remember, self-worth is not your net worth, but your net worth can help your self-worth. So because you're investing in yourself, it's your best self is your most compoundable asset. Never forget that. All right. But y'all holler at me. There are some things that you can purchase material wise. Don't get it twisted. That if you have it, you feel more well, don't front. Don't be ashamed either. All right. That's what we got on happiness. Y'all leave some comments, because I know it's a touchy subject, but it shouldn't. Be your best self. Have a good plan. Live within your means, not below. Live in abundance. Roll and adapt as life comes to you. No shame or no judgment. Run your race and be happy. Bobby McFerrin. All right. All right. Now, if you like the show, like and subscribe. We appreciate you listening all the time. And that's what we got. Cue up that music.